So thank you so much for having me. I can't believe I'm here, actually. It's already been such a strange and wonderful journey. Moving. I'll be using that word a lot today. Moving me into parts of my life and parts of the community that I didn't know I was going to be moved into. So I am from a big country with a very small population, and I'm from a small city. And within that small city, I'm from a small part of that city. So we lived right by the forest. And my name is Åsmund. And I am here on behalf of IBK Esports. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about our journey. It's been a couple of years. So we are quite a young club. But I think that is also something that makes it quite interesting. What was our motivation starting this club, and how are we going forward? So I'll do you have that clicker thing? Thank you. So I want to bring you back to 1980. I'm born in 1982. This is 1987, and that is me. And I want to bring you back because I think context is really important, because when it comes to esports, attitude is so important, how we approach this whole thing. And I worshipped at the altar of popular culture. Every waking hour, what movie can I see? What song can I learn? What skill can I teach myself within this realm? Because I knew I wanted to do this when I grew up. And in 80s, we didn't have screen time. Our parents didn't even know where we were. Half of the time we were out in the forest finding dead bodies or chased by pirates or something. And our parents were at home. We didn't have cell phones. They were for traders in New York. So that gave us a lot of freedom, of course, but I think this is really important to remember, because as we are now adults and we are now the parents, we need to bring this with us. So my life today is a very and I think this context, again, is really important. I live a life of privilege and wealth in human connections, ambitions, motivations, activities, and possibilities. I really do. And this is before the esports. So, again, this has to do with the context of why I'm here today. And the reason why I'm here today is simply put, this guy right here. This is Ben, and he's with me today. You already know. So Ben is like all of our children. He is unique. Very early in Ben's life, he didn't gravitate towards football. He didn't gravitate towards those traditional sports, those traditional activities. And I am a basketball player, so that was really hard for me. And no matter how hard I tried to indoctrinate him with, like, come on, let's play ball, it didn't stick. He was willing to come with me. He was willing to watch a game. But it was so apparent from such an early age that this did not land with him. He felt alienated by it. So one day, which was a really pivotal moment, he said, please, it's like football, basketball, karate, this is not for me. He actually told me and my wife, I am a gamer. And that's when something clicked in my head, because I grew up gaming. That was 90% of my life when I was growing up. And he had like the awareness to defend his like character, the integrity of who he was. And I thought that was pretty beautiful. So we thought, well, okay, then we have to put him into something organized that has to do with gaming. And we tried to research clubs, esports, and we very soon found out that there was no clubs, no esports. And what do when you can't find a club? You make one. So that's what we did. And I think that is the definition of grassroots. You see a need, you see a purpose, and then you grow that from a little seed. So we then established our own club. We found out, it was quite fortuitous, because we found out that our local general sports club, IBK, Birkebeineren, actually have wanted to start something within esports, but hadn't found the right person to do it. Well, here I was. So we were quite lucky, but you have to have much more than luck. You have to also be welcomed. You have to get open arms. You have to get something that is really important, and that is trust. And I think that is so much to do with what we're talking about today, like trust that this is good. Trust that we want our children the best. And it's quite controversial, I know this. Esports is controversial, and it should be. We have a long way to go to figure this one out. But I was met with trust and open arms. And this is a couple of years ago. We were given a room. We fixed up the room. We applied for grants, because a quite beautiful thing in Norway is that all the big banks have come together to form a fund that gives out a lot of money each year to initiatives for children and young, like youths. So we applied. We got money to buy equipment, and the club met us with open arms, and we opened our doors in 2023. We had 50 spots, and they were filled up immediately, which also showed us that this was a need. This was something that our community wanted. So we thought this was a big success. But for this to remain a success, and for us to always know what we are striving towards, all the way in the beginning, we were thinking about how should we sustain this, not only for now, but for the future. And for my sake, and for all the people that is engaged with this, we need to be driven by something else than just computer games. Ben has now this, but what about all the other kids? What about future generations? What about the people that will need this 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when I'm not there? So we needed something that will sustain all of this, and that is values and purpose. You know, like to be value-based, purpose-driven. It actually sounds very religious, and we should, and we can learn stuff from religion. They are quite good at PR, and and I think that it's like a good leading star. So I have some principles today that I just wanted to go quickly through, that we established all the way at the beginning, that we felt that this will sustain us, and this will sustain hardships. So I'll just present those principles for you today. The first thing I did was actually to research clubs in the close vicinity. Successes like Ola Apenes's club, and the people that have failed and that had to shut down their esports. So I interviewed a lot of people. I went around and gathered some information, and on the basis of this information, I established these principles. Also, because of my motivation, I really needed this to be much more than just 10 computers, people and kids playing games. My motivations needed to be above that. So these are the collection of principles. First one, all activity will focus on physical activity, healthy diet, good conduct, and passion for gaming. Those are 4 things we never should forget. And these are like the values that we communicate out to the players and to the parents. We have a high standard that's really, really important. And we do more than gaming. We teach our kids more than gaming. It is connected, but it is more. Principle 2, we should not do this alone. Loneliness is it can be so sickening for the soul, loneliness. So if this is supposed to be sustained, you have to just gather resource people around you. I had to make sure my wife was on board, that I'm spending so much more time on this. So making sure that you build something robust, surround yourself with people you can lean on, people that can help you, and again, avoid loneliness. Because I saw that a lot of the clubs that have failed on esports have had one person. This person has been burnt out, and now there's just 10 computers standing in a cupboard somewhere. And that is such a heartbreaking story. It is so important, but it's also one of the biggest challenges to engage people, as you all know. Principle 3, okay, let that one write itself out first. Principle 3, engage the parents. So important. We wanted to bridge the gap between generations. We wanted to bring the parents into the fold of what is a computer game, what is actually so incredibly impressive about your child that you don't even know. You were talking about the room, you know, like the dark room closed off. So many parents say, now I know he or she is playing some computer game. I don't know. I just let them do it. We wanted to bridge that gap. So we forcefully engage the parents as coaches, assistant coaches, drivers, crew members in leadership, or just as observers. And that really helps us build a robust team, but also helps us bridge that gap. Also to show how insanely amazing those kids are. So I'm also a coach for 3 of the teams, and I was walking around and they were playing Fortnite, and we were in a cup, and I saw this hand. See this hand? It's insane. It's like, I'll show it again. Tell me that isn't impressive. He's 9 years old. He's playing that thing like an instrument. And not one single press of keys is random. It all does something. It's so amazing. And I really, really want to show the parents how amazing their kids actually are. So engage the parents. Principle 4, strive to use clear and really concise communication. That is not only us towards the players, but club players, parents, players, and player. Be aware of the language that you use. Be clear. And that is one of my main motivations, to be able to raise the bar on how we talk to each other, how respectful you talk to each other, what kind of tone you use, what kind of language you use, the connotations of what you say. And we've had a couple of situations where our kids have used language or words that is horrible. And just being able to pull the plug on the machines and taking all the kids, sitting them down, and just say, for 5 minutes now, you're gonna give me your attention as to why this is not okay that you use this language, is such a amazing position to have with the kids. So, like the valuable, unique, and appealing activity that we represent as a esport fraction is such a unique position to learn kids about language and communication and good productive communications. So we have a couple of very, very potent tools, practical tools that we use, and the one is a code of conduct form that the kids actually need to sign. We go through the whole thing with them, and they need to sign it, and that is just basically about language, about physical, like violence, the equipment, respect your player, respect your coach, respect the equipment, and make them aware of the unique and really positive position they are in. And it's also a tool. When shit happens, and shit will happen, you can refer to this. And I can say, but you signed that you wouldn't use that language. So suddenly you have expectations that you can point to and say, we agreed on this. And this has been really, really good. And then we have a consent form. And this is also in regards to the parents, that the parents feel safe, that their kids is safe in our club, safe playing the types of games. What does PEGI mean? Where can they find more information about the different games that we are playing? So this is also a consent form that we and the parents need to sign before they are allowed to play in our club. So clear and concise communication all the way, in every way. So, number 5, we strive to offer something unique. This is really important, I feel. That, of course, we have high-end computers, equipment, but creative tools, there's so much more than just computer games when it comes to popular culture and gaming culture. We have creative tools, 3D printers, VR simulators. We have people resources. Can you imagine having like this cool gamer? Just unique activities and experiences, tools to develop their gaming skills. There's so much cool stuff on the way now in esports, like the one I wrote here, Osirian, that they don't have access to outside the club. So try to make something unique, because one thing is to get them inside the door. I think that's the easy part. Oh, we have esports. Oh, we have something cool. Come on. You fill the room, but how do you keep them there? You want to be able to grow, and those who are kids now will become our leaders in the future. So we need to constantly try to offer something unique. And then a cool uniform, that helps. A sense of belonging and fellowship. So we try to do this. We try to give them unique experiences. And that is also something that segues over to the next principle. And that is actually something that I have... it was a question from one of the persons in this room. And it was such a good question that I included it in the presentation. And that was how I personally find the motivation and time to do this. Because as I showed you with the second image, life is already full. It's very, very seldom I meet a person who says, oh, I have too much time on my hands. So where do we find the time? And I had to think about it, but I think the answer is make sure you infuse your own passion or love into the work. And I found this to be one of the more potent motivations. So the way I try to do as a leader for this club is to I'm a filmmaker. That's my day job. I make music. That's kind of my day job and my hobby. So I make sure that music, film production, podcasts, and screening of like related gaming movies is a part of the offer. So I try to, for each season, we try to do as much of this as possible because this gives me motivation and it really helps to broaden what esports actually can be for inspiration for ourselves and other clubs. So infuse your own passion into the work, then it doesn't feel like work. It's like that sentence. So not many principles left, but the most important one is we do it all for the kids. That is the most important one. Not for the accolades, not for the triumph, and not for the money. And that is not to say that you cannot do it for money or accolades or triumph. It's not mutually exclusive. Of course you can try to win a competition. It's important to give them a goal. But now I'm talking about my motivation that will survive all of that. And that is we do it for the kids. I have great parents myself. They are both teachers. And they have inspired me a lot. When I was growing up, I remember they both had this mantra that I think is really moving, really beautiful, which I try to infuse in what we do in the esports. And they always said, let's build them up while they are kids, so we don't have to fix them when they are adults. And I'm really motivated with this. You can do so much when they are kids. They are so open to be built up. And I think this motivation will sustain a lot of adversity. So I'll end this where I started the story. And that is with this guy. Ben, would you be willing to come up? Yes. So Ben, he is not a football player. He is not a guitar player. He does not do karate. He's not a karate kid. And, and no matter how hard I tried, he is not on his way into the Basketball Hall of Fame anytime soon. But he's very smart. He's incredibly funny. He's very, very, very compassionate. He's incredibly creative. And as you can see, right in front of our eyes, he's able to solve any type of Rubik's Cube in a matter of seconds. And I could not be more proud. And that is so important, that we see our kids for who they are, not who we think they should be. And esports is a perfect way into that. I'm proud of Ben, I'm proud of Nina, Thomas, Eirik, Elias, and all our other kids. I really feel a sense of pride when I'm thinking about these kids. And I meet them every week. And they would not be in our club if it wasn't for the esports. So as you mentioned at the introduction, man, this is something we should just continue to work with because it's such a beautiful thing. And I'm going to end on a story that actually happened last weekend. Nina, as you see at the top there, one of our biggest, brightest stars, we were playing a Fortnite Cup this Saturday, actually. That was now. And she lost a heartbreaking game. And I felt so bad. I want them to feel good, you know. I want them to win. Not win the game, but I want them to feel like they've won. I want to give them wins. And I sat down with Nina after the game and I said, Nina, oh, you know what? And I was thinking like tactics. I need to encourage her. Nina, don't give up. We have. We're gonna get new equipment. We're gonna get guest coaches and new costumes, and man, it's gonna be so great. And she looked at me like, yeah, that's cool. And her response to me sitting there and just rambling all the things I was going to get her, it was so moving. And I think this is called moving people. I think it's okay to be a bit moved emotionally as well. Her response to me was so moving. She said, "That sounds cool, but I'm just very proud that we have our club." Yeah. And it was such an important thing for me to learn that sometimes just being there can actually be enough. And we need to remember that. Yeah, thank you.